Moving on now to questions concerning service departments and the fact that the AS president has a lot of oversight and influence and administrative power in those matters. When asked questions concerning if you had to cut service departments or enhance the budgets of service departments, you disagreed on the issue of the Coalition for Social Action. So the Coalition for Social Action, an AS department created recently, aimed at increasing student awareness of social issues, has been on a one-year trial and is actually coming up recently in the Senate for rediscussion. Mark, you suggested that CSA should be cut, and Cameron, you suggested that CSA's budget should actually be doubled. Mark, would you like to start us off with your reasoning behind why CSA should be cut as a service?
Well, the question was if you had to cut.
If you had to.
If I had to, as president, cut any two positions, that would be one of them. I certainly wouldn't want to cut it just because we come in here and clean house. Definitely not the plan. But if we had to cut any departments in AS, that would be one of them to go for a couple of reasons. And one of them is that it is a temporary position right now, and it's still in the trial mode. It took 2 years for my position currently to become a permanent position. So I think we should extend that for 1 more year with the CSA. Secondly, some of the events that the Coalition for Social Action chair does could be absorbed by another department, such as ASDRAR. ASDRAR being an interdisciplinary department in itself, could very easily pick up some of the events that CSA does, were there desire to have them, but no person to facilitate them.
Cameron?
Yes, in response to Mark talking about ASJAR absorbing some of the events, part of the reason for the CSA trial run was because ASJAR wasn't taking initiative and covering those events. And taking student initiative and seeing the need for social action, for a chair for that and a service for that, I think AS has a responsibility. You know, we're taught at Biola about our faith. We're taught, what Christ says and about being a light to the world. And I think that CSA has a unique opportunity into not only can we learn about our faith and how to grow deeper in that at Biola, but CSA offers an avenue for us to live out that faith. And through social action and through standing up as Christians for justice in society.
I think it's a good segue to talking about ASJAR more specifically for those following at home, the academic and religious affairs job that Mark currently occupies. There was also disagreement about what should be done with that service department. Cameron, it was one that you suggested if you had to, you would want to cut that position. And Mark, incidentally, you suggested that you would want to double the budget of that position. Cameron, would you like to continue explaining your reasoning for why you think it should be cut if you had to?
Sure. I like to use a different word besides cut and say combine. In my response, I said I like to potentially combine ASJAR with the chapel service because I think that chapel works with bringing in speakers to talk at various chapels on different subjects, and I think that academic and religious relations, they focus on bringing in speakers to talk on different religions, etc. And I think that they could be segued into and merged successfully into one chair if need be, budgetarily wise, at least for a year or two. And even seeing the academic and religious relations chair bringing in more people to talk on missions and business, and just kind of helping bridge that gap between where our majors and fit into filling the Great Commission. And so I did say that I would cut that if necessary, but kind of merge those responsibilities with the chapel board.
Mark?
Certainly we could always attempt to merge when necessary and possible. But the job descriptions of the Director of Religious and Academic Relations and Chapel Board are not that closely linked. Sure, we have people who come in and talk about religion as it pertains to our academics and our academic achievement here at Biola. But chapel, our campus is what is the part of AS that most directly affects students' spiritual lives and spiritual growth. ASJAR does not, does not affect directly students' spiritual growth. In a manner, yes, we do. But I would double, those are both of the departments that I said I would double the funding of. Namely because my department is interdisciplinary and we can contribute to almost anything that's going on campus in some form. And chapel, because more money would mean more honorariums, which would mean more potential for more speakers or more renowned speakers. Combining them would be an option, but it wouldn't be the best of options by far.
I'd like to interject there. I think that it's important to make clear that the chapel service chair in AS isn't responsible for all the chapels each semester. They're responsible in working with a few of the main chapels as well as the after darks and stuff like that. So merging those into more of one would be what I would have to do if I had to cut.
Following up on that, Cameron, seems that the emphases that were in your response to this question were primarily about doing things about business and missions oriented speaking. So in particular, isolating an event that's going to happen recently via Mark's position, would something like the Christopher Hitchin debate have taken place if ASJAR were assimilated into another department, or should it have, given the priorities you seem to have for the chair?
I think that the possibility of a debate like the Hitchens debate would still be there, merging the two, but I don't think if I had been president this year with the current situation of the amount of funding that needed to go to that debate from AS, from the students, in the Senate, I voted against the debate because my first responsibility as a senator is to hear the student voice and to represent them and their ideas and what they think and their opinion. And overwhelmingly, my constituents in South Wharton did not agree with spending thousands upon thousands of dollars to bring in an APS to debate at Biola for an event that was going to benefit mostly outside people coming into Biola instead of the majority benefiting Biola students for a specific debate event at Biola. To answer your question, I think that should have come from other departments, and granted, for a lower amount, I think AS, if I had been president, would have contributed a lower amount of money towards the debate, but not the thousands and thousands it was.
Mark, given your role in the you can applaud, sorry for interrupting. Given your role in the debate, would you like to comment on that?
Yes. This event on campus most definitely affects each and every student on this campus in a way deeper than we understand, I think. Because even if you have no interest in apologetics or no interest in debates, say that for the business major who just wants to get a job after college, not that all business majors are business majors just because they want to get a job. But for anyone who's not interested in apologetics or debating or what have you, anything like that, this debate will benefit all students because it will not only benefit the 300 or 500 students that go to it directly. You can also buy the DVD afterwards. But that gets Biola's name into the world of ideas. And that gives us a strong, William Lane Craig is probably the best apologist in the Christian church today, in my opinion. And he is going to tear any idea that Christopher Hitchens posits apart. And for someone to graduate from Biola, regardless of whether or not they were interested in and participated in the debate coming up, that makes Biola's name bigger and more respected and more profound. Thus, for any graduate of Biola searching for a job, a better name for Biola is going to be better for any graduate.